Hello friends, welcome back to this next video episode. In this video I'm going to show you a nice daylight, small little budget house, and the cost of building this house is roughly close to $7.5 million. Yes, you heard me right. US $7.5 million. Now of course this isn't your typical everyday house because just the land itself is over $1.5 million. But our clients got the money, so why not? We're not going to tell you exactly where this house is located, but we are going to tell you that this house is going to look out to the lake, and it is built in beautiful state, Idaho. My name is Edward, and I do a lot of cool architectural, residential, and commercial designs. While I was not the designer of this house, the general contractor, my best friend, called me and said, "Come take a look at this beautiful house. I'm sure you'll learn a few things." We as designers, architects, engineers, or whoever is involved in the project always look for opportunities to see the project being built so that we can learn a thing or few from this project. It doesn't really matter how many years of experience you have in the office. You don't learn as much unless you go out and you look at the projects being built, because general contractors, framers, people that do foundation and roof always have their own ways of doing things. And even though you do specify things on the plan, they still find better or different ways of doing things. They're not necessarily illegal, they're just different. They might be even better. So it's always good to go out and learn as much as possible from those guys. Anyways, let me take you inside and show you what this beast looks like inside. So right as you walk in the house, you walk into this huge living room or guest room, and it's open to above, and what you see right away is this massive glass, these 4 glass panels that go all the way up to the ceiling and have these arched transoms, and that just makes this house look so good because you do see the river through the glass and it just looks astonishing. Yeah, you guys gotta realize how much wood goes into build something like this. Every time you see a huge house like this, think for yourself, do you really need this big of a house? Are you going to use every corner of it or not? So when designing a house for yourself, really think if you're gonna occupy the whole thing or it's just gonna sit vacant. Because the reality is we kill trees like and just grow in one day, and we're not judging you for it if you can afford to do it, but really think if you can afford building this house and then cleaning this house for the rest of your life. If really all you need is 3,000 square feet, then build a 3,000 square feet. You don't need 6, 7, 12,000 square feet home that's gonna sit vacant for the most part. We are trying to save wood, of course, any other material too. This isn't the point of the video, of course. I just wanted to show you this beautiful, massive house. Now I'm just gonna walk around with the camera. I'm gonna start with the first floor and then go down to the basement, and then I'll go back up on the upper level. So this is a 2-story house. It's a daylight. So what that means is it's a 2-story on the front, and in the back there's 3 floors, of course. So the basement is halfway or all the way hidden in the front, and it's all the way exposed in the back, so you can just walk out to the view. Now the view itself is absolutely astonishing too. This house is situated on a, I believe, 2.5 or 3 acres lot, looking out to the lake or the river, with a really good view, of course. As I'm gonna walk around the house, please pay attention to all the architectural and engineering elements. I'm not really gonna tell you what room we're in because it's just a bunch of studs right now. It's hard to determine what room you're in anyways. What I want you to look at is all the plumbing that's already installed. Electrical is not in yet. HVAC guys are still working on their stuff, so I guess it's mostly framing at this point. I might go back, revisit this job site, and then show you what it will look like when it's near completion. You'll see me flipping through architectural construction documentation set at any point in this video, so you can kinda pause and see what the floor plan looks like. When you are on the upper floor, what you will see is you'll have that big hallway. You'll have open to below so that it's all open. And on the left side you'll have master bedroom, and then you'll have big nice laundry. On the right side you'll have 2 bedrooms facing the lake and 1 facing the other side, and obviously you'll have bathrooms, closets, and all that stuff. So there's a lot of little rooms here and there. The beautiful thing about this house is that it has an elevator. Now that's not something we do very often, but this one comes with an elevator, which I think is really cool. All the exterior walls on this house are 2x6. As you know, 2x6 in the USA are not really true 2x6. They're 1.5 inch by 5.5 inch. In most states, we're required to have insulation inside of exterior walls. Insulation acts as a barrier to heat loss and heat gain, practically in roofs and ceilings, walls and floors. In most homes, insulation is the most practical and cost-efficient way to make a house more energy efficient, keeping it cooler during summer and warmer in winter. Usually saves up to 80% on heating or cooling cost. So that's something to consider even if you're not required by code. Insulation is always good. It's always good to insulate your exterior walls, roof, and floor. Now, if it's a 2-story, 3-story, or however many stories you got, usually you're required to insulate only the first floor or the bottom floor. Now, this house has a basement, so that changes the game. As I walk around the house, you'll notice that there are some white pipes going all the way from the floor to the ceiling and through the roof, and you might ask yourself, what are those things? And those are plumbing air ventilation. And if you ask why they're important, so basically your home plumbing system is designed to efficiently remove water and waste. Its drainage and vent functions are actually two systems that work together. Plumbing air vents are also prevent sewer gases from entering the house and allow waste gas and other to escape from your house. Now, since we have vaulted ceilings and we have Caesar trusses, you'll notice that most HVAC stuff goes inside of the ceiling, so there is enough space for HVAC guys to run their stuff. And you'll notice some is insulated and some is just wrapped with this paper stuff to keep it warm. I'm not an HVAC guy myself, but I've done a little bit of electrical, mechanical plumbing in the past life, so I know a few things, not a whole lot. Actually, this is something to get into because HVAC is also a lot of fun. As we walk around the house, you'll also notice that we are using I-joists. They're also known as TJI joists. They're really good. They can span longer. They can hold more weight. There are some cons to them, and that would be fire. So regular wood holds up to fire better. So in Washington State, for example, when we use TJI joists and we have unfinished basement, we actually are required to install sheetrock on the ceiling to protect joists from fire in case fire occurs in the basement. As far as I know, that for sure in a lot of states, if you use TJI joists, you are required to install 1-hour sheetrock to protect them from fire. So basically, the dimensional stability of TJI joists help them resist warping, twisting, and shaking that can lead to squeaky floors. TJIs are lightweight and they come in a long lengths versus wood, regular 2x8s, 2x10s, and 2x12s, which just makes them faster and easier to install than traditional framing and saves you both time and money. So of course there are a lot of benefits from using TJI joists. Another big benefit of using them is that you can drill bigger holes through them, as long as the hole does not exceed the maximum allowance, and that depends on your code and on the size of the joist, of course. You can run all the plumbing pipes through them, and of course you could do that with regular 2x10s, 2x12s too, but with TJIs you just have that extra strength. When we design houses and we have a transom, for example, the walls are 9 feet tall or 10 feet tall, the thing we have to remember is that we always have to have enough space for the header, and the header could be 2 2x10s and 2 2x12s. It could be a glue lamp beam depending on the spanning. So always think of that, always remember to leave that extra space for the header above the transom. The owner of this house decided to have these really cool glass doors with wood trim, and they fold like an accordion, so they're accordion type folding doors. When they fold, they go to the right end or to the left, and the whole wall basically disappears. Now, while this is all good stuff, we as designers have to think about the structural part of it, right? So in this case, you'll see double 2x4 holding the header above or the glue lamp beam depending on the span. Now I've seen it as far as using even 3 2x6s in this case. The more the better, of course, but now you don't want to go 5 of them, right? Because you also want to insulate this house, and whenever you put studs, the heat or cold actually travels through that studs. So it's important to structurally support that, but also think about the insulation, of course. You'll see me walking through this huge room. It's a basketball court. Now, don't ask me any questions. I'll tell you just one thing. The walls are 20 feet tall, okay? 20, no big deal, just 20 feet. Another thing that I will tell you that in Washington State, we are limited to 10 feet as far as the walls go. Now, what some of us do is we just raise that foundation wall 2 feet or whatever to compensate without hiring an engineer. You don't have to hire an engineer if you want taller walls. I bet you this guy did, because 20 is just crazy and you don't see any foundation sticking out. What that tells me is that it's just a solid 20 feet wall, okay? And these studs, they had to be one piece, preferably one piece, for that strength. In some parts of this house, you will see corner window and you will see 5 studs supporting the window and the roof above. This is me coming back to saying that the insulation is not gonna be the best, because think about it. You've got 5 studs all sister to one another. That is not a good design. That's a big failure. This is something you want to avoid, because whenever you have that many studs sistered together, you lose heat, and then the cold goes right in your house through those studs, because they freeze and then they hot really fast during summer. So avoid that if possible on your house. These were some of the things I've noticed when I was walking through the house. If I wasn't looking into the camera, if I actually focused, I'm sure I would have found more things that I didn't like. They're not necessarily done wrong. Maybe they had to be this way. I don't know the whole story. The codes are a little different in Idaho State. I'm not really familiar with Idaho codes. But as far as general architecture goes, there are a couple failures. There are a few things I would have done different if I knew I had a $7 million budget to play with to build this house. This is not a couple $100,000 home. This is a big mansion. Like, this is a huge house. Especially if you are a designer, the architect or engineer, it's shame if you don't think up through those things. Somebody's paying you a lot of money to design their house. This is somebody's baby. This is somebody's dream house. You have to think outside of your limited box. Think big, but make sure everything is up to code. I've noticed that some of the things are not, or they might be to Idaho code, but they're very minimum. They're barely to get you permit kind of thing. But I think that's enough for today. I'm gonna stop talking here so that you can enjoy the rest of the video. If you like this video, if you want me to go out more often and show you these beautiful houses, let me know so that I can do that for you. I have a lot of friends locally, and not a lot of them are builders. A lot of them are building cool houses for themselves. I've been designing a lot of houses on my own. I do quality control and I see a lot of plans. I've probably seen thousands of plans before my eyes. So when I see a good design, I know it's good. When it's not a good design, it's a bad design. Before I go, before this video ends, I would like to tell you that if you are looking to build a house or to buy a house, I would say do a lot of research. Don't just go out and buy a house, or don't just jump right into it and buy a floor plan from online, or go to the first company you contact to design your custom home. Do a lot of research, really do, because you're gonna live in this thing for many years to come, and you're gonna hopefully pass it on to your kids or whatnot, sell it and make a lot of money from it. Do your research. I cannot stress enough how important it is to go to the designer that knows what they design. They're not just fresh off the boat kind of a design company, right? You want them to have a lot of experience, a lot of hands-on experience. In fact, probably the best company where the designer is a framer or someone who used to do framing or who used to build houses or who has built couple houses for him or herself. Those are probably going to be one of the best designers. Don't go to those that just sit in the office like office rats. Those are the ones you want to avoid. Now, I do believe that our company is one of the best in United States, and I'm not trying to promote it or anything. We're doing really good. We don't care if you're gonna come use our service. In fact, we might actually reject you because we have so much work. But if you do come to us, you will get the best service possible. Now, we as designers, these are the things we have to look out for. I don't care if you are an architect with 50 years of experience or an engineer or whoever. Please go to construction job sites and pay attention to how framers do their things. I can't tell you how much stuff you can learn from it because these guys are there every day. They get to see your floor plans, a lot of times chicken writing, and they get to work using that floor plan. So whatever you drew is what they're gonna base their house off of. And of course, a lot of times they're gonna be laughing at those floor plans because they're not always great, and that's just the reality. We as designers have to think every little thing through to make their job easier because these guys are hard workers. They don't always get paid as much as they should, and that goes for us too. We as designers, we just don't get paid what we should be paid. A lot of times clients just don't get it. They think it's some kind of a free service, and it's not. I mean, you go through school, you go through years and years and years of hard work, and it takes a lot of experience, and this job has to pay more to keep us motivated, right? How are we gonna do a good job for you if you're not willing to pay us for our time, for our knowledge? A lot of times you're not even paying us for our time, it's the knowledge that we've earned throughout all these years. You're not paying the doctor for that 10-minute, 30-minute surgery. You're paying him for the time he has invested into what he knows today. And it goes exactly the same way for designers. You are paying us for our knowledge, not for what we do, right? Not for the time. So if you're not willing to pay for what we do for you, then expect the same result. Expect poorly designed plan because that's what you paid for. You wanted that horrible plan because you're not willing to reward us for our hard work and the knowledge that we have. And I hope that this helps you, both the designers and the client, okay? If you want to see more of these videos, let me know. Otherwise, I'll talk to you later. Ciao, goodbye, пока.